Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it. Kevin, good evening, sir, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Cheers.
We'll just do an air cheers.
Yeah.
Just getting around these microphones.
Cheer.
Yeah, it's too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
I know. We missed a week, didn't we? What happened?
Yeah, for the first time in over, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
We missed a week. We had a fairly significant snowstorm here in Virginia.
And it wasn't because we didn't try hard to do it.
No, we had no power.
Right.
You know,
Right.
And it wasn't. It's interesting because one of the things that storm, I think, caused people to do is evaluate their priorities.
Okay.
And very quickly, things that you just kind of potentially take for granted become very, very important, like heat and electricity and running water and food and those kinds of insignificant things. So we talked about it. The power was out here, and we ultimately decided not to try and record an episode last week because it was pretty low on my priority list, and it's always very high on my priority list. So that'll give you an idea of the things that had jumped in front of it, like keeping the lights on in here, not so much the light, but some heat and a little bit of electricity flowing to keep from losing a bunch of food, and water to be able to flush the toilets.
Kind of takes you back to the old homestead days, right? When folks were
it's like Pioneer Day 3.
Pioneer days, right?
Yeah, I like camping. I enjoy camping, just not in my house.
Right. But you do a lot more planning for camping than you do for kind of a freak storm. I mean, it was forecasted, but it wasn't forecasted to do as much damage as quickly as it did.
No. This area is not equipped for that kind of volume of snow all at one time.
Right.
3, 4, 5, 6 inches, not a problem. But man, you dump a foot of snow on us in a 6-7 hour period.
Right.
Or more, yeah. I think at one point I measured like 14 or 15 inches out here.
Yeah, same my house.
And you dump that volume that quickly, and the worst part about it is the early stuff was really heavy, and so it was just wearing out a bunch of trees and taking out power lines and so on. Yeah, and there's still. I was actually surprised that our school system is opening up tomorrow in Stafford County, because I don't know how much you've ventured out into the county, but there are lots of locations that are still only passable with one lane on a 2-lane road because of branches that are jutting out, snow that has piled up along the edge where they've plowed. I was a little bit shocked, and I know I wouldn't want to be the person or persons making that call, because it's a double-edged sword, right? So you don't open school, and people are going to bitch because they think that you should open school, and then you do open it, and somebody gets hurt because buses can't safely pass other vehicles on certain roadways, and that's going to blow up in your face. But I just good on them for making a decision, and I just pray that it all works out and people are able to go to and from safely.
You bet. 30 years from now, when you're talking to your great grandkids, well, it was a storm of 22. Oh my goodness. That snow was 4 feet high and I was barefoot. Had to walk up a hill, get to the store. Yeah, I can see you doing that.
Yeah, you got that down pretty well, man. Yeah, it's I like snow. I grew up around it and enjoy it. I like it when you're able to deal with it, right?
Right.
They say and I love this phrase, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. Or, bad
I don't
equipment.
agree with that. There
Yeah.
is such thing as bad weather, and I've been in it.
Yeah, especially if you're not on land.
Right.
Then there's definitely such thing as bad weather. That
Right.
apparently that phrase did not
Right,
come from
right.
somebody that spent any time on the ocean.
At sea. Right.
Yeah, that's a
right.
valid point. I did not take that into consideration.
Well, good. I'm glad I could add some value to your day. There you go. Yeah, so have you named the storm? I'm just calling it snowpocalypse, but I mean, that's been used.
Yeah, snowpocalypse or
Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon
Right.
2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Storm 22.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about it.
I'll just call this one. No. Is this a rated show? Can we say stuff like that? Like, we know we can because we do. But I just spared y'all that one. No MFers tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that one go. It's a new year. I'm gonna stop cursing.
Well,
You know that's
speaking of being passionate about the weather, what else are you passionate about? What are we talking about?
Well, I picked a topic tonight,
Yes, you did.
and the title of this here episode is "Perplexed by Passion and Purpose." And I've read a few articles here lately and watched some videos on passion and purpose, and I thought it'd be interesting to have a conversation about it and get your understanding of the two.
Okay.
I think sometimes people confuse them or make the assumption that they're the same thing.
Right.
And I think they're distinctly different, and just wanted to talk through that a little bit and maybe shine some light for folks to if they're having difficulty identifying what that is. You hear folks out there, you need to find your passion, your purpose in life, and you'll be much happier, and you'll have your existence will be better, and everything. And so how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, when you first sent me the title, and I hadn't done any thinking about it or research on it, I was wondering where it was going to go, and I can tell you, this was one of the more enjoyable topics. That once I got into it and really started thinking and digging into it, I liked it. I'm glad you picked it. And you're right. I think people can confuse them. Here's what I like more than anything about this topic. I like the idea that we are going to have the opportunity to talk to the folks out there and get them thinking about this stuff, because if you take the time, like so many other areas that we talk about, and think through it, you can really add some value to your life.
Right.
And so, I don't want to steal any of your thunder. We probably have many of the same thoughts. And so I'll let you go first, and then I'll about what's the difference, what's the similarities.
Yeah, so you kind of you tiptoed up to the edge of the water there.
I did.
Got your toes wet just a little bit, because I think they're definitely different, right?
Right.
So if you've had that situation where you've been confused about are they the same thing, or you've read something where somebody said they're the same thing, opinions are like assholes, they say, and the rest of that. But I think they are definitely different. And passion. My understanding and perception of it is passion is all about your emotions, right? So it's emotionally driven. What drives you? What fills you up? What just you wake up in the morning without your alarm because you're so excited to go and do what? Or you stay up and lose track of time during the evening because you're engaged in what? You're busy all day long, and then you realize at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you haven't eaten since breakfast, and you're about to fall out. And this happened because you lost track of time because you were doing what?
Right.
And that is the answer to the question about what is your passion.
Right.
It's those things. And I also think that there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you, you've got to figure out what your passion is, what your purpose is, and do those things, and they tie them to income, right? And that a career. And I don't think that that's necessarily impossible for everyone. And at the same time, I don't also believe that it's possible for everyone, because I think there's some passions out there that people have that would be very difficult to figure out how to generate a full-time income from. And they're might be those folks out there that say that's bullshit. No, you can make it happen. That's my opinion. If you like, you could probably argue it either way with whatever I picked as an example. But it's. I don't want to put the message out there that it has to be your day job, your major income earning activity that necessarily is what's fulfilling your passion every day. Now, if it is, or a portion thereof, then that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And if it's not, that's okay too. It can be a means to an end. Now, providing, with this caveat, providing that it's not just, sucking the life out of you and you're absolutely having no fun doing it. There's got to be something about it that's filling you up. Your passion might be something totally different that you spend your off hours doing, and that day job that you do enables the latter.
Yeah, all of that. I agree with every bit of it, and you probably saw this too. I'll just add to it a little bit. An additional component to passion. Yeah, passion is just simply put what just gets you going. What wakes you up in the morning, and do you want to just engage in? If you, in the privacy of your own brain and in your own life, could do anything you wanted to do, what would that be? What are you just passionate about? And there's almost always, in fact, there probably is, emotion attached to that. So, but I would add an additional component, and the additional component is this. Passion tends to be focused on you as an individual.
Yes,
it's
agreed.
It's not focused externally.
Yep.
It's focused internally on what is it that I am passionate about.
Yeah, completely agree.
Which leads to purpose.
Right.
And purpose very often tends to have a more external focus.
Right.
Right?
What can you offer the world?
Correct.
What because you are here, what is the world better off in the areas of, right? What is your contribution?
Right. Why were you put on God's green earth? What were you intended to do? What is your purpose? And how does that purpose impact the rest of the world, the rest of society, the rest of human beings? How can you add? How can you contribute? How can you help? How can you serve? How can you give? Those things, and those are things that go to your core as well. You can be equally passionate about a purpose.
Right.
And now we're talking about alignment.
Yep.
Getting your passion and your purpose aligned, because a lot of times they aren't, because people don't take the time to think about it. Yeah. If you just simply take the time to think about, there are some people, I'm just going to make up an example, and I know this to be true on several people. Professional basketball players. Some of they are passionate about playing basketball. You could name this about anything. I mean, this is they love playing basketball. But there are some who are doing it as a means to an end, and the end is, I want to make a bunch of money so that I can have an impact in inner city neighborhoods.
Yeah, there's nothing wrung with having your passion being, generating a bunch of wealth.
Absolutely.
Right? Making a shit ton of money.
Right.
Because your purpose may be, helping, underprivileged youth or poverty in your community, and having that wealth that you've generated will help facilitate that purpose. So it can, I think sometimes people think that having that's the focus, making money is the focus is wrong. Right. And I think, with certain strings attached to it, right? As long as you're doing so ethically and et cetera.
Yeah.
Then making money in and of itself is not a bad thing.
No, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing, especially if that's one of the tools that you use to fulfill your purpose.
Exactly.
And that's when the alignment occurs.
And it passion can be plural, right? Passions, and it may be, earning money, building wealth is part of it, and just you enjoy giving to others and sharing your good fortune. Those can both. I think in some ways can be a little bit of both, right? So helping others might be your purpose. Taking care of those less fortunate, and it can also be a passion of yours.
You bet. Yeah, here's another example. I know several business people who are working hard at a variety of different businesses, creating multiple sources of income for their life. And they love doing that. They just love the idea of being able to bring together a team of people, move toward a common goal, add value to a community, so that it creates a source of income for them. But that's not their purpose.
Right.
That's their passion. They love doing that. But their purpose is, and it doesn't matter what your purpose is, just as long as you have one. And by their purpose is, I want to leave my next generations some money, some stability, so that they do not have to go through the struggles that I had to go through. I want to pass on some of my money, some of my wealth, some of my good fortune to those in following them. And that's their purpose. That's great. They want to help out their families. Now, I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's their purpose.
Right.
And they have decided what that is. And so taking the time to think about, are my passions and my purpose aligned? And does one support the other? That's ideal. And sometimes they're not. Some people are passionate about travel. Some people are passionate about reading. Some people are passionate about, you name it. There are all kinds of things they're passionate about.
Right.
But it isn't necessarily connected to what they consider their purpose in life to be is. And if you discover that about yourself, take some time to think about it and see if you can align them. Because then you're really cooking with gas.
Yeah. So I think you're talking about this too, kind of beating around the bush, not intentionally, but you're talking all around this subject. And so I want to ask this question.
Okay.
Where do you go to find out the answers to this, right? So where do you go to find out what your passion or passions are and what your purpose is? Where do you go? Where are those answers held?
You go into your own brain, into your own head. You have to do some self-reflection.
Yeah, you have the answers. The answers are within you.
Right.
Yeah, it's self-reflection to figure out, what are these things that I get so much joy from and just could spend hours doing or lose myself in this task. What are those things? And, put those under the passion category. And then think about the contributions that you make to the world. World is a big thing to look at. So, you might want to narrow that down a little bit more. And, what contributions do you make to your family and your friends and people that you have regular interaction with, your community, and then, broaden that out a little bit. And I think you'll find that you can figure out, what your purpose is and how you're adding value to the area of the world that you interact with.
Right. I'd like to add an additional component to purpose as well that I heard somebody else talk about on a video that I was watching in prep for today, and I stopped it and took the time to think about it, and I thought it was really cool, and I think it's right. And it's when you compare and contrast the two, passion and purpose. Passion is pretty easy. It's just if you wake up on a Saturday morning and you don't have crushing things to do, and you can just sort of decide what you're going to do with your day. What would you just really enjoy doing? What could you be passionate about? And that's fairly easy to come to. I think purpose can evolve. It's more evolutionary. It's more discovery over time. You may think you know what your purpose is,
right?
At one stage and age of your life, and then 10 years later, you might find, because of your growth as a person, because of your exposure to the world around you, because of your life experience, that your purpose has evolved, and it's become something different, better, bigger, faster, whatever it is. So if you hear this and you're wondering, I don't know what my purpose is. Well, first of all, the fact that you ask yourself the question will begin solving that problem.
Right. Yeah, because your mind hates a riddle.
Right.
It's going to figure out what the answer is.
You'll start walking down that path. But then you'll start to get some clarity on at least what you think your purpose is today or could be. But it might be different in 10 years. And I actually love that too.
Yeah, and can there be more than one, right? So I said earlier that I believe you can have more than one passion for sure. How about purpose? Multiple or, things that maybe are kin to one another?
You bet.
Similar?
You bet.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure you did too. Again, I'll say it once again. I get more out of this than anybody else does as we go through the prep.
Didn't we do an episode talking about what's your superpower?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was one of the things I came across in doing some research for this, is that people often link those two together. That what's your superpower?
Right.
That's your purpose, right? And there may be some connection there. So that's another question to ask yourself. What's your superpower? What things that you're just great at that you can make a huge contribution by doing, and that may well be your purpose.
Yep. Yeah, so as I look at my notes here for a second, passion is about you individually. Purpose is external and about others. Passion can be emotion, right? It's all about the emotion of it.
Right.
Purpose is more about reason. It's well reasoned. What is it that I'm contributing? Who am I? Why did God put me here? What is my purpose in life? Get those things aligned as much as you can. Passion, purpose, and talents and skills. Those are all together.
And aren't those just cool questions to ask yourself?
They really are.
When you sit down and think about it, because it's one of those things where you can't be negative and be thinking positive thoughts, right? So you can't be having a bad experience when you're thinking about positive things. And when you're in your headspace thinking about things like that, what contributions am I making? What can I even if you're not in a good headspace when you start, I think you'll ultimately get there, because you'll figure out that you are doing some good things and making good contributions. And it might be to a small circle of people that are in your immediate world that you deal with every day, or it might be on a much larger scale. But either way, it's still important.
Right. It's very important. Yeah. Like I said, just going through the exercise today of, and all of this stuff, I love doing this. I know you do too. That you just think about, why am I here? What am I doing? What's my purpose in life?
Right.
Those are all great questions to ask yourself. But to just have a podcast to focus on it was wonderful. And to add the additional piece, and this is, for me, put the bow on it. You got your passion and your purpose, and they're aligned, so they support one another. They're not the same, they're different, but they're aligned.
Right.
And then there's skills and talents. Bring those in too. And I immediately thought of, years ago, I was chatting with one of my colleagues who had a teenage son, and this teenage boy was he wanted to become a sports broadcaster.
Right.
And you talk about passion. I mean, this kid had passion like crazy, and he was constantly talking about it and constantly pretending, as he would see some scene in life unfolding, he would put on his broadcaster voice and broadcast this incident. And he did it so much that it became annoying after a while, because you were like, it's time to tone down the whole broadcasting thing.
Right.
No. But, and I would never, I would never tell him this, because I'm not close enough to him to do so. He just, at this stage in his life, he was not good at it at all. He was horrible at it, actually. Right. So horrible that you were like, you wanted to say to him, I think you probably ought to pick a different passion. I know you're passionate about this, and I know you love it, but you are not good at it, not at all. Now, he can overcome that by working at it.
Yeah.
But
that's what he was trying to do, and y'all were shutting him down.
I didn't shut him down. I did not say a word. Well, what I'm saying is, you got to have the skills and talents to match. Otherwise, your impact is going to be minimal. So I'm not trying to squash anything, but you got to align all that stuff.
But while you're telling that story, it reminds me of another story that you shared that I think actually kind of slants it a different way, where you talk about a singer that you knew that was doing some singing and really wasn't all that good at it when they first started, and you saw him like a year or so later, and it's like, damn, they can actually sing.
They could actually sing. And in that case, I remember, I don't know if I said this at the time, that guy ended up being able to hit like 4 notes, and that was it. But in every song, he used those 4 notes.
Right.
And he mastered them. It was amazing, because he sucked. It was awful to listen to. But he was able to pull those talents into alignment with his passion. And there you go. So, see? I connected it.
There you go. Cool. You saved yourself. Yeah, because I'm thinking of that story
Yeah.
the whole time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's cool. Very cool. See, I mean, just having this discussion is just making me smile.
Makes me smile too. I was just going to say that very thing.
Yeah.
What is your passion? What is your purpose? What are your talents? Get them all aligned. And if your talents are lagging, because you're passionate about it, you can work on it. Get them up there. Or if they're not working, then yeah, time to pick a new passion.
Yeah. And, your passion, if you live in our area, might be shoveling snow right now. No, that's probably not a passion of anyone.
Some people like it, but
I think
yeah.
we're going to get another opportunity next weekend.
really, are they saying that again?
Yeah, well, at least the long range forecasts that we're seeing are looking like a snowstorm with greater accumulation potential than what we just got.
Get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
No way, ain't happening.
All right.
No way, no how. Ain't happening.
Talk to me on Monday.
No. Ain't
Next Monday.
Next Monday. No, we're so far away. It's probably going to be 50 degrees that day.
Yeah.
Forecast.
We'll be right here again Monday, but
Yeah.
you'll have to tunnel your way to get here.
Ain't going to happen. Telling you.
All right. I would be completely fine with that.
Okay.
And I think it might.
All right. We'll see.
All right. Fair enough. All right. So what have we not said about passion and purpose that we need to cover off on?
We've said it all. Take the time to think through it, folks. And it will make your life turn out to be way better than you ever thought it was going to be.
That's right. And where do you go? You go to the mirror. You look within, because that person that's staring back at you every day in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth or combing your beard or hopefully not shaving, because your kids only need one mom. But I don't know where that came from. There's an Australian band out there that has a song about guys that shave, and that if your dad doesn't have a beard, you have two mums. Again, that just kind of popped into my head because I'm thinking about looking in the mirror, and every time I look in the mirror, I see this bearded dude looking back at me. I don't remember what my clean shaven face looked like, and I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I digress. Ooh. I don't know why I went there, but I did.
You did.
Yeah.
It's good. Now own it. You're owning it. It's good.
Yes. All right. Well, if you've said all we need to say, and I've said all we need to say, then I think I need to say this. No matter who you are, where you are, or what you're doing, don't get out of practice. And remember to hit that button over there. I totally jacked this up.
He totally.
No matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, you take time to enjoy the ride. Still got it in there.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.